Okay, it's Wednesday, March 1st at 6 PM. This is the Economic Development Commission. This is not our normal meeting. This is a extra meeting we're having. And basically what we're going to be doing is, depending on the FY24 budget, which will be determined at the annual town meeting in late May, we may be looking at some possibilities in terms of marketing. And we have with us tonight Martin from Southwoods, who'll explain to us some possible methods of marketing, the related costs, and how the whole thing would work. But we can't make any decisions now because we don't know what next year's budget's going to be. We won't know that until the end of May. Martin, would you like to come on up?
Sure. Well, where do you want me?
Sure.
Wherever's comfortable. Do you want
anywhere
a
is
seat?
fine.
You want me to move? And you can, okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, we should. Let's just do a roll call while Martin pulls up a chair. And
Oh, here, take this one, Martin, and I'll move.
But there's another one over there. There's another one over there.
Are you sure?
There's a, right there.
Michael McMahon.
It's okay.
Serena Fuller.
Craig Samuelson.
John Coder.
Amber Bach.
Martin Lee.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Why, thank you. Okay, so, welcome, and thank you for inviting me over to this meeting. I'm sure, did Craig share with you the basic proposal of a whole bunch of things that we can help you guys with? The main thing, the focus would be digital, so Facebook and website. Right now, this is just super draft of what something could look like. Anything's editable, so no worries. One of my main thing is trying to get together is bringing business and community together. And that way, the community and businesses coming into Southwick have a easy resource to go to and feel confident behind, building your business here in Southwick. So, that's why I just quickly put those words together. Again, anything is editable, nothing is set in stone.
So this is what it would look like.
Potentially.
Exactly. So this would be for web. Facebook, of course, having a standard brand going through it. Again, whatever you guys choose that we help you design
Right.
will become your brand. And so Facebook would be our dynamic conversation with the public. And then anything that is event related, we could publish there, and then link back for more information to your website to get more traffic to your website, and of course that can link back to the town's website. And so we want that nice consistent flow. Of course, we can reverse it by having the Facebook news feed in the sidebar so that anything that's posted here automatically shows here on your website. So if someone doesn't know about the Facebook page, they go right to your website instead, which would be linked from the main town's website. Boom, they see, oh, well, look at that. Okay, I'll click on that, see what's going on.
So that's basically like news items we used to see 5, 10, 20 years ago when internet first started.
Yes, definitely. And some basic links, of course, the mission statement could be part of the homepage. But a business directory. So that could be as simple as a list alphabetically or a list categorically of
Restaurants.
exactly
versus-
restaurants, printers, clothing stores, anything. And then, so basically it'll have name, basic contact information, and then it can link back to their business website if they want, and probably they do. And one thing, business help, maybe something to help jumpstart new businesses coming in. If we already have certain tips and tricks, but it's not easy to get to, we could put them there. Whether if it's a PDF or, again, maybe that becomes a blog so that new trends coming into Southwick, or we see that increase in traffic driving through Southwick. Let's capitalize. So there's the business help section could be anything that you guys want to help communicate, again, tips and tricks, because then it shows more value of, I'm going to this EDC website to get more information because it's a valuable resource. And if both again, business and community feels that, then just more of a conversation and a better bond between that. Of course, again, I just made up some links of PDF contracts. So if a new business wants to come in, they have some basic paperwork to fill out. Okay, PDF, download it, fill it out, either submit it back or bring it to the town hall for whatever it might be. It's there. So again, easily accessible information. And one other aspect that I forgot was, and that was actually number 7 was a brochure called Let's Do Business, would be something that engages, again, both business. So a welcome package to a business saying, hey, these are, if you need help, such and such, then here's this little pamphlet to help your business jumpstart. Now also for, let's say, a new resident moving into Southwick, another pamphlet that says, welcome to Southwick, here are our local businesses that help you with hair care, beauty,
Yep.
Food.
See, one of the challenges that you have in Massachusetts is, for example, a new resident. If you buy a house, your deed is recorded in Springfield.
Okay,
So we don't have a list, other than to look in Business West or some other publication, of the property transfers. So if you just bought a house at 500 College Highway,
yeah,
I might see it 3 or 4 or 5 weeks from now in the Republican newspaper, the Sunday Republican,
Right.
or in Business West. Otherwise, I would have no way of knowing.
there's no easy way to just find that, huh?
No, I'm just
Okay.
pointing that out.
Yeah, right,
Your idea, the idea is great, but we don't.
right,
It's the same thing as if a business comes to town, unless the building inspector has to inspect it for whatever reason, depending on the kind of business, we would have no way of knowing.
We don't even know.
If you
Wow.
open a restaurant, the Board of Health has to inspect your place,
yes, right,
but they don't tell us anything. It's a matter of us driving down the street and saying,
interesting.
well, it looks like somebody's moving into that empty
Yeah,
store.
exactly, right. Are they open? What do they do?
So then I come up and
That is
talk
one
to-
heck of a hurdle.
to the town planner, or periodically I'll go to the building inspector and say, what's new, or the Board of
Yes.
Health. Otherwise, we don't know that they're there.
And we probably have a lot of just home-based businesses in town.
That's
too.
what
Right.
I was thinking as well, yeah.
We
So-
definitely,
So I
we
think for
have no
that, I
idea
think
who they are.
that aspect, I think the Facebook page would be something that would be beneficial, because then they can come and say, hey, we wanna showcase ourselves on
Right.
this. And then we can actually kind of pull off of that as well, and maybe add them to the list of businesses and what they do.
Right.
So people have that option.
I've talked to people who said they didn't know about Southwood.
Yeah, I know.
For them, in terms
I
of
get that.
advertising or Spotlight Graphics, or
Right.
lots of
Yeah.
other businesses in town. They
Yeah,
have no idea.
Martin, can I ask you a
Sure.
question?
Yep.
What other towns have you done? Have you done this for other towns specifically like
specifically,
this?
no. we
No,
haven't,
okay,
actually.
so we would be like kind of a first
Yes.
trial run on
Right.
this, with this? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now,
Do we
the-
get a discount for that?
Well, I don't know, that's for the boss to decide.
I know.
So most of our websites that we've created, are in 2 categories. One is, the client is looking to make their own edits as well, so that they would like to have control over, their own website. And the second is, we'll design it, where we have more freedom in the design process. But then the editing part of it, we control, because it isn't possible to edit through the more fancier way that
Absolutely.
we can design. So with the collaborative design effort or editing effort, which is both you guys and me, that would be done through a WordPress format or platform. And it's a content management system where you can access it from any place that has internet connection. So you could do it here, on the laptop. I said, oh, we need to put that out. So you log in and you take care of it. WordPress is, right now, one of the standards for CMS. It has a lot of updates. It can be a bit cumbersome in its functionality.
Okay.
But I do a tutorial so that you guys can learn and can cram we can do it here if we wanted to.
Sure.
And then that way, everyone has more of an understanding of how it works. Its main design field is kind of like a simpler version of Microsoft Word. So when you want to type something, it's right there. You want to insert a picture, you push the media button and insert the picture. If you want to justify a left, center, or right, you just push those buttons.
It
So,
sounds similar to Network Solutions, has a Unix and a non-Unix version.
okay.
I haven't used Unix in like 30 years. Unix and Bourne Shell and C Shell and all
So,
that.
yeah, I'm in the process of redoing my website right now, because I'm a
Okay.
realtor, so
Cool.
so we have a company that does it through my brokerage, and so we just did an upgrade on it, and so today, that's what I spent most of my day on, was going back and forth with the person, kind of going and seeing, you know, what changes were made, what things I kind of wanted to add or delete, or
Yeah.
what was, you know, what was relevant and what wasn't
Right.
for me personally specifically, and the market that I'm trying to hit. So I am familiar with that, but I'm looking at, so I'm cost-wise right
Yeah,
now.
sure.
So I'm looking at, it would be originally $480.
Yeah.
And then no monthly fee unless we need to make edits for you.
Yes.
So edits being, is that adding an event, that type of stuff, or is that something
So
that we would
you
be?
guys can, basically on the WordPress side of it, you would have the same exact access that I do.
Okay,
So you're a full admin.
okay,
If you want to add in a plugin, you can. Just know what you're getting into.
right,
If you decide to change any of the CSS coding, just know what you're getting into.
okay,
So you can make those edits, yes. So adding events, totally, the blog section, whatever you want, you would be able to do. If you need me to, let's say, well, but a lot of times I've done tutorials where the client will come back and say, yeah, I haven't made any changes to my website after 4 months and I don't remember anything we did. Can you do it for me? And let's say it was adding 10 more pictures to my gallery, add this description, it takes me a half an hour, it's $39.95.
okay,
So,
Okay.
our hourly rate for any kind of design job, whether it's web, signs, printing, anything, is $80 an hour.
okay.
The other part there, the annual domain hosting and renewal, that is $100. So that's of course tax exempt. So with tax, it's
year.
$106.25. But yes,
Okay.
per year.
So would the billing be in increments of an hour, or is it?
So usually, no. If I take 15 minutes to do the edit, it's only the 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah. So we don't round it up.
Now, like some attorneys I know, you call them and it's on
I had like
$300 to
$300
$400
an hour.
an hour.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a 5-minute call. Yeah, $300.
I just have a question.
Sure.
I think that the real focus here that I would like to see happen is, after especially being part of the master plan vision for small businesses, is how can we offer value to our business owners and also new people coming in? So I think if we can focus with Martin about, what ideas he has, and we know what the cost is, that's a key piece, because this would be part of your budget conversation next week, Mike. And to be able to see, can this be something that we can launch sooner than later?
You couldn't launch it until July 1st. We're not gonna know until the end of May what the budget is.
Right, but this could be money that we could spend, that you could spend from fiscal year '22 to start the process.
But we'd really need to wait until the annual town meeting to make sure we're gonna have, the select board and the finance committee could turn around and say, money is tough, the schools are getting an extra $1 million, we're giving you 200 for the year. You know, we have no idea.
But you're saying it's 400, but there's no responsibility for that except for our domain.
No, it's $480 initial setup,
Right.
and then it's $106.25
Well, it'll just
per
be,
year.
it'll just be $100. per year,
Oh, okay,
'cause that'd
$100
be-
bucks.
yeah.
So we're looking at 580 start, and then if anything needs to be made changes, it's $80 an hour.
Right, but I mean, so if nothing else, we could have the website approved under this fiscal.
We could, however, then the Facebook page, the initial Facebook would be $59.85. And the campaign costs, depending on how many posts need to be created and scheduled, starting at $100 per month. So if you do the initial setup at basically $60, right?
Yeah, that part right there for 100 per month, that is negotiable depending on what kind of work we need to do.
Okay, so
That's
we
that-
might not actually have to do
No.
like, there could be a month we don't have to pay the $100.
Like, that is, yeah,
Sure.
you could.
Okay,
yeah.
so then we're doing. All right,
Do we have money this fiscal
So we
year
have
to
our
spend?
two-
We do.
we have our two, we have our,
We have
2,000.
money,
Yeah.
Right, right.
but in terms of going
Right.
forward to
I know what
this,
you're saying, yeah.
we don't know
Well,
what we're gonna
could
have.
we set up and pay for 1 year's worth? If you were to bill us, can we get that into this fiscal year? And then next year, we decide depending upon what we're allotted.
Right.
But if we have a full budget, with our 2,000 right now, we can pay for the website, we can pay for the setup of the Facebook, and we can pay for a year of Facebook.
I don't
at
think you
$100
can
an
get
hour,
it past the town accountant's office,
Even if we're presented with a bill?
and then.
because we're not getting the service yet. Because when we turn in the bill, you have to fill out a form, you fill in and give it to the town accountant's office. Last year, for example, the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, our dues are in May, and they wanted to know, well, when does it actually due? Is it covering more months? It'd be like buying a box of paper at $50. Is this paper you're gonna use for the next year, or is this paper you're gonna use in May and June?
I thought Cindy said it would be acceptable to do this. I thought.
Well,
I thought so too.
Yeah.
So, okay, so.
But
my-
let's understand the whole
Concept.
Right,
process, and then
right,
we can
and-
go back and debate.
Yeah, and I was only gonna say, adding on to yours, where I'm for all of this, I think this is great. But if we're gonna only get $200, so we're gonna have a website up and a Facebook page up for 1 year, and then potentially, that's it. Because if they only give us $200 next year, you know what I mean? We're hoping we're gonna get more, because there's things that we want to do, but if,
Well, one of the
let's,
worst thing that would happen would be, we would do no edits, no changes, and we're only paying a $100 maintenance fee on a website. Am I correct?
Yes.
okay,
And you guys do all the edits yourself.
For
If
the
you guys-
year, the
if you-
$100?
If you guys do the edits, there's no charge.
No
charge,
for-
right.
It's
Okay.
only if I have to do
Okay.
work for you
Okay.
guys.
Or
Okay.
we just do none if
okay,
we have not, we don't
right,
have- we
right,
have-
what do we
have
do, what are we
nothing
gonna
now.
do, right, no,
But you
I
need, you
agree.
need to make edits so that the
It's-
Right.
the
Context
information is
is-
there,
yeah.
the content is
Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I think when you submit this to the town, we ought to cover ourselves in case they do all the edits, right? I mean, this needs to be part of
Because-
our budget.
Right,
And it's not uncommon in software to buy a year subscription, is it?
That is true,
No.
right.
So
Right.
how is this any different?
It's not.
well, it depends
I'm paying
on the
for a year- we're paying for a
peculiarity
year of service.
of the town accountant's office.
Okay, and I'm not trying to argue.
5 or 6 years ago, we put in for business cards. I got a phone call from the town accountant at the time, it's a different one than one we have now. And she said, so whose name is gonna be on there? She was trying to see if she could disallow it. And it was like $55 to you guys for like 200 business cards, or 250, whatever the number was at the time. So it just, they become very peculiar on small things. They've done that to the library as well, periodically. They'll question it. Do we really need to do this, or can we just pay
They
for 1 month?
can't say no
of
if
it?
we don't ask, though.
No, I
So,
understand.
I mean, it might be worth a shot, but yeah, so Martin.
Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but, so if I'm understanding this right, we have to June 30th to expend this year's budget.
The reality is, you have to spend the money by the first couple of days of June, because otherwise they say, we're too busy to process anything. We're closing out accountants and we're doing all sorts of stuff, so you've got the early days of June, and then they say, we're just too busy.
And I imagine it probably wouldn't take too long for you to generate a bill and set this up and get it to us, correct?
Well, yeah. Now, part of the design part of this project, or any web project that I do, is that it's a collaborative project, so that any of the text content is already written by you guys, already proofed, and then just submitted via email or Word document or whatever. Then I can just basically copy and paste that into your website. Then that way, all the content's already, again, proofed, ready to go. Photos, same thing. Granted, there are a lot of copyright-free photos, but utilizing photos that are local and it illustrates us would be the best thing to do, and then we don't have to get hit with copyright
Right.
photos that someone say, oh, that was my photo. So, but yeah, and what we could do is set up like a timeline saying, okay, well, by this such and such date, we have all text, and then this can be, photos or whatever, and then I can focus on the mainframe, so that, building in the plugins, your SEO, all the other stuff in the back end portion of your website. Then as we get the content, we start plugging in where it's supposed to go. And then, of course, the discussion of what we want the actual links to be, the mission statement, and how we want to create either a logo or some kind of branded look for the EDC. So, yeah.
A question that came up 5 or 10 years ago on the internet. You were around then, because I
Yes.
remember working with you on
I've
some
been here,
stuff.
I've been at Southwest for a very long time, yes.
Is domains. Sometimes municipalities or companies have gotten burned by their consultant, because the consultant says, I own the domain.
Okay, so yes,
If you ever leave me, your
So-
domain can't, or I charge you a fortune.
I don't
right,
think
right. So, okay, the domain name and hosting we purchase, so the domain name will go, so if we want southwickedc.org and we purchase that, the privacy policy on it is hidden, so it doesn't show my company's information. If you want to have your information in there, we can then put that in there so that it shows that it's the town of Southwick that owns it. If you do ever decide to transfer or leave us, that is fine. We provide you the authorization code to transfer it to whoever
Okay.
you want it to go to.
Yeah,
So, yes.
I'm not picking on you, but
Oh, no,
I've seen this
yes.
issue.
And actually,
in
I'm
the
dealing with
past.
one of my clients who tried to buy a domain name from a GoDaddy placeholder, and the person's like, okay, pay $75 for GoDaddy to now get it for you. They paid it, then it went to the person that actually has it, that's auctioning it. It's like, okay, I want a
That's
couple
a
$100.
squatter.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And that is a very aggressive business where they're automated bots that are looking for
Right.
domain names that are going into renewal soon.
Right,
So yes, so for what we do is we send out a renewal reminder a month ahead. And then if we don't hear from you, we send it again, or we'll then try calling you. Even if it's past the due date, okay, so when it's the day of expiration, what would happen is that the site would actually not be accessible. The domain name can still be renewed, but I cannot hold it for more than literally about 4 weeks.
Okay,
Once if I cannot get a hold of anyone, that 4 weeks is up, it will go back into general circulation and someone will steal it and then auction it.
right.
Because they see, oh, there's a site behind this, someone's gonna want this.
right.
So yes, Yes,
know
but
enough about
we've
this,
never
yeah.
had a problem transferring domain names
Craig,
from us,
do you know anything about this?
or to us.
Sounds like we'll have to increase the budget if that happens.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah, the most of the time, they go at $2,000 starting cost for our auctions.
Yeah,
It's not fun. But,
So in
yeah.
terms of the 480 is to set up
Yep.
Facebook or a website?
The
Website.
website, yes.
Website.
Yep. And just about $59.95 to just set up the Facebook page. And for the Facebook page, of course, you're gonna want to choose who will want to have access to it.
Admin, yep.
Because again, same thing, you'll have the same exact admin as I do. And you guys can take me off, but,
can we have you set up, some like security stuff on it first, like, or help, or walk us through
For
it to
Facebook,
do it in a different way, so it's only, our concern with Facebook is, because we're a town commission, we're not a restaurant, we're
Yeah, we
not
don't
a
want
business,
negative,
we don't
yeah.
want negative, we don't need people, you know what I mean, coming on there and being, or if a
Right.
restaurant posts, we still don't want people going, I had the worst meal at, that's not what it's gonna
okay.
be there for. We wanna be able to
Okay.
promote, so we want to more make it where
Right.
it's just businesses, like businesses can put their specials out for the week, or businesses can say.
so
we're-
like, the main Facebook page out there for Southwick is the Southwick Community, Forum.
Yep,
There's
And,
a bunch of other private ones.
right,
Right.
and they're all run just volunteer, just
Right.
Right.
regular people.
right,
So even the town, Southwick doesn't even have a
right,
Facebook page.
right,
But joining those groups, there's a set of rules, so we can definitely post those rules, and granted, monitoring it is pretty crazy. It
Right.
could be a nightmare.
right,
So I'll look into blocks, because, okay.
See,
Good question.
one of the challenges that we have, and this is not through the mechanics of you doing this work, is in the last 10 years, nobody has suggested one addition or change to the website that I set up. Nobody has input. They'll come to a 1-hour meeting, but they don't add any thought for the
Okay,
rest of the month. So we can set all of this stuff up. We can put on the latest restaurant list. We can have, Prime Steakhouse, which is the new place where Louis B's was. But nobody suggests anything for the next 10 years.
Right.
So then we've got to,
well, I think we have to stay on top of it, and if people, and if we see, and again, if you see some activity, I mean, you can see views typically, you can see who's viewed it, or the amount of people that have viewed it. So I think at that point, then we kind of see, are we getting, enough bang for our buck with this? I mean, it's gonna be a trial, there's not a lot of people, there's not a lot of other commissions that are really doing this to this sense and going out for our businesses like this, but so this is what it's gonna be about. It's not gonna be like a blog about economic development necessarily. It's gonna be more of, if we're doing some sort of event, but it's gonna be more business
come to
promotion.
Southwick, spend money in
Right.
Southwick.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Be it in a
right,
restaurant or
right,
bar, we've got
Right.
35 of
Right.
those, or,
Buy your
somewhere
gas,
else.
come to your farm stands,
Right.
You gotta,
so for the content, this commission meets monthly.
right.
But the conversation, does it stop today, or does that conversation continue the rest of the month, bouncing off ideas off each other, and it's like, hey, this is blah, 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 and so, okay, so for one thing, the Facebook part where it says how many posts you would need to, continue getting the word out there, yes, Southwood can help you do that. But we still need to know what content that is approved that we can post for you.
Right.
If we know that there's an event coming up, then we can definitely run with that. But then if it's dry, we will still need something.
Right.
We could just Southwoods in general, something that we would have to charge for or maybe put within a package price is due to research and development of upcoming things, but we still need to have it approved by this commission before we put anything out.
Right.
So,
And the only thing is we only have once a month and we've gotta have a quorum in order to do that. We can't meet up and have coffee at like three, a couple of us and
If
have.
three of us got together at a coffee shop, that's illegal under Massachusetts law.
So we can't, so we can't,
okay, yeah, understandable.
If I put out an email, sent it to everyone, and said, and this is my opinion on X, Y, and Z, what do you guys think? That's illegal under Massachusetts
So
law.
why don't we look into then if we, as an admin, and if we wanna give, like, say you're the admin.
Right.
I'm winking because I know you, but let's say, if you're the admin, like, are we gonna feel confident enough that you're gonna go and be like, hey, this is the content we want, and just kind of
Right.
roll with it, and
Right.
then, we can take suggestions at one of our meetings, but I think if at a certain point, you've gotta put kind of the trust in the other person, if there's no content, that they're just gonna be able to
I
put
think
something out
Inga
there.
wants to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something.
One of the things that I can see this being a very good platform for is we already know in town what our key things are. We've got the 338. That's already being planned right now with Mr. Johnson. So that would be simply us going.
July
or-
the 8th.
Or you folks going to the 338 to be able to have that list. We know when the 4th of July event's gonna be. We know when the Congamon pontoon boat event is going to be. We know that Ironman is gonna be coming through here on June 11th on their bicycles. So there's things that we already know in town that can be given because they're already being planned.
That's, and that's, so that was,
That's the easy piece. We already know the weekend for the shop small. So it might not be as taxing as you think it is, but it would require a member of the EDC going to the other meetings to be privy to what's already being posted and planned in the town, which has already been set. I mean, I already have Farm Day planned for August 20th, so there's all this forward planning that's already in effect, that's in stone.
Okay,
So
that's
it's not
great.
gonna be as labor intensive as you all might think it is.
So, but even with the upcoming events, we would still want the town to capitalize on that traffic coming in.
right, right,
So that
that's
would be
exactly it.
kind of like an
Part of the
additional event
process.
that, I don't know, but,
What do you mean, Martin? I didn't understand that.
so, like, when Ironman's coming through,
Yeah.
it's a bike race?
It's part of a 70.2 triathlon that's gonna be happening starting in Springfield on Sunday, June 11th. But it's coming right through our town.
So, okay, so other than, promoting the event, let's promote the town to get out there and support, cheer them on as they're riding through the town.
Yeah.
As that's happening, now maybe community members would be getting a donut at Murphy's or something, because
Fill
there's.
up the gas tank.
Exactly, so utilizing all these future events to promote the business, interior business of the town, just, not just come out for that one event and then go back home.
Right.
Spend your time
Right.
here, and again, it takes more time to, create another, event on an event.
Yeah.
Like you have,
Piggybacking on it.
it is, but like
Yeah.
Rock 102 Road Crew, they go out and they're out there with t-shirts, here Rock 102 t-shirts, boom, 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 boom.
Right.
And they're getting the name out and they're engaging, they're having fun with community members that are just for that particular event.
Right.
So again, it's piggybacking, but the overall goal is to get them to interact with the town, not just the event.
Right.
So
Right.
when we post something, we're posting, get the energy up and, something. Not just a repost of Iron Man. Oh, yes, don't
Oh, yeah,
forget.
no,
you know.
yeah, that's
I
what
know.
I'm saying,
Right,
because we
right.
have so much other stuff going on, that's where we would, I don't think the content would be so, where we'd have to say,
Right.
okay, guys,
Right.
let's vote on, are we gonna,
No,
write
it
this
would be
about
just-
Iron Man,
it would be just a link
stop and have,
to
yeah,
those events.
right, or whatever, but it should be, yeah,
Right.
don't forget to go out and cheer, and
Right.
like you said, stop at Mrs. Murphy's or wherever.
Martin, I do not, I don't know that I'll ever use Facebook, I never have, okay? I'm
I
not
haven't
saying it's not a
either.
good thing, okay? But I would like to understand the difference of somebody going on to the website versus the application for Facebook.
Okay. So, all right, so a website nowadays is more of like your brochure. It doesn't change much, but it has all the information you need to like, do whatever you need.
Yeah, I know
The
what they
fix-
each have, I'm wondering
So-
what the clientele difference is.
So the
between
clientele
two.
difference is they go hand in hand. And by linking them together, that's how you get traffic on both of them. But your younger demographic is gonna be using social media more than going to the website. But that doesn't say that they just go to their phone and say, looking for events happening in Southwick, Mass. And then whatever links show up, if the EDC website address shows up, or the Facebook address shows up, they'll be clicking the one, whatever they see at the top is most likely what they're gonna click on. And that will be their, main way of getting information. So, the value for both of them, I still would say goes hand in hand, because dynamic conversation, granted, you might have people, they're gonna be able to make comments. So monitoring that is gonna be more difficult. Website, because it's more static, you don't see, or an end community townsperson wouldn't see, they're just seeing data. Oh, there's some pictures of a past event, that's nice. But when they see the conversation happening, getting excited about maybe an event or whatnot, then at least that might help them be excited about it as well. So when they start sharing, they're sharing, with their friends and whatnot, and it's a kind of a ripple effect digitally. So I think the social media aspect of it, again, is the part that will help bring
I'm sorry.
the main part for the EDC, to the light, to the
If you're under
forefront
the age
easier.
of 35 or 40, you probably don't go to a website.
Not as often, but
And the website you get through on the town's website, is that
No,
how it's?
it'll be
okay.
your
Yeah,
own,
just
like,
our own,
right.
okay. You can do that now with ours? I never went on the website.
The one I've been doing, the unofficial website, you can go direct to.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so because of the, again, mobile device and all that, your website would be mobile friendly as well, so desktop and mobile.
Yep. So again, this is where my concern lies with the Facebook. Let's say we say, hey, Ironman's coming out, cheer him on, and don't forget to stop at the coffee shop or gas, whatever, go grab a sandwich, whatever,
Right.
there, and then people are like, oh, great. Don't go on the roads, or why can't they use the bike path? You know what I mean? Why can't they use the bike path? Like, that's the type
We
of
don't
stuff.
want all these out-of-town people coming into our
Yeah,
town.
well, why,
They should stay
yeah,
wherever the hell they
no,
came from.
but this is what
No,
I'm,
but
this is what
people
I'm
say
saying,
that
these are the
on
type, you
Facebook.
never,
Right.
this is the type of stuff, like, you've just gotta automatically know, there's so many people that go straight to negative, that this is, that's what we're gonna, so to sit there and have to
Weed it all out.
admin and weed it all out,
Right.
I'm thinking, maybe, like, if you can confirm if there is a way that we
Okay.
can't have comments.
Right.
Because I know I've tried to post stuff before, and, like, I know there's things you can turn off comments, but, like, do you have to do it every time? Is there a way that we can have no comments?
We don't want comments?
I
On
don't,
Facebook, I don't think you could
think-
turn off comments.
okay,
Because, being a social platform,
I know.
you're blocking the freedom of speech aspect of the
It just,
platform.
if you look at other towns around here, because there's one that's Southwick, Agawam, and Westfield. If you go
Yes.
on there, you'll find nasty comments. I went to that restaurant on School Street in Westfield, and
Yeah.
it was blank, blank, blank. Way the hell overpriced,
But don't
and then
people
someone else.
discount that? I mean, you're always gonna have that. I mean, to me, there's some people that might go on that just to me, it's publicity. I mean, either way, even if it looks bad, it's still,
Right,
it's still
negative
talking
publicity
things
is
up,
still
right? It's
publicity.
okay sometimes.
so I'm gonna say, the City of Westfield, Mass, Economic Development, I'm on their Facebook group right here. They have 360 likes. They have 367 followers out of the whole city of Westfield, their
Yeah.
economic development. The last time they posted was on September 20th of 2021.
Yeah, it's okay, so.
And they have paid staff
Yes,
working full-time.
social media is a double-edged sword.
I get it, I'm not, and I would love, I know that it's out there, but I think as town commission, like, I need to sit on the whole social media thing for just a minute, like on the Facebook thing. I know that gets the word out there, I'm all for updating the website, 100%, because there's no, possibility of back, somebody wants to contact us, they can click on a contact, shoot us an email, you know what I mean, tell us their concerns, but there's not gonna be the back and forth. I
Right.
need to sit and think about the Facebook a
Sure,
little bit longer,
definitely.
just before we, if
No.
Do you
if that,
think, is there anything else we need to know?
So one other aspect is just getting the events out there. Southwoods Magazine, has our bulletin board, and promoting your events there is free of charge.
okay,
So
awesome.
get us information, and depending how long it is, we may need to paraphrase a little bit, but the information is there, and
What's your typical cutoff? Is it the 18th or 25th or whatever of the month? or-
So we usually go to press on the 7th or the 8th of each month. And I would like to have anything probably, if you could, 2 weeks ahead. If not, the week before would be fine. So, yeah, I guess the cutoff would be like the 25th, let's say. But then we can get that into the magazine.
Yeah.
And if let's say there's the website, if you wanted to link to it, we can have it linked to it.
Yeah.
So yes, one of the things that we do is that, all the advertising in our magazine is you could click or tap on it and you can learn more about them. So again, if we want direct, so like even your ad, you tap, click, and you can call directly to
Right,
Freshfields.
Yeah.
So yeah, the platform is there, and that's one way to get it out there. Again, it's in the mail, direct mail, and everywhere in Southwick. Plus, we have our surrounding areas in Westfield. So basically all the bordering towns. And that way we can get the message out that way, and that's free of charge. So yeah. I don't know, other questions for me?
What about the banners? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Those street pole banners?
Yeah, I mean, there was a little confusion as far as that goes. We were thinking that they were more for the businesses, as opposed to, I don't remember what it said in there.
So this one,
30 street pole banner display, the banner project, is that the one?
Yeah.
30 street pole banner display why Southwick is a great place to live and have a business. Displaying a strong community. Banners would be 18
Yeah, ounce material.
ounce banner material, printed double side with UV protection,
Yep.
inks 2
Is that
foot wide by
space
5
4 or 5
foot
feet
tall with
long?
Yeah.
2-inch pole
I
pockets
mean,
on
I
top
know
and
you
bottom,
guys did the original banners, I
$133
just
each.
didn't know exactly
Design
what
for
the
each
size
banner would
was.
be between $39.95 and $80 each.
Yeah. So before, we had the banners that said, Southwick, the recreational community.
Yep.
And then underneath it, there was a spot that was about 8 inches tall by 24 inches long to put a business sponsor there. So the banner project is open to interpretation and anything that we can move with. That was just an idea where we have the poles, but they're not used all season long.
Right.
And but when we do use them, it has to be with the DPW so they can get the lift and get everything up there.
So do you see any reason why we can't have businesses on, individual businesses on those, and then some
Sure.
EDC recognition somewhere on
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
That could be totally doable. So instead of a smaller section, we could literally have the full 2x5 section for a business.
But we'd have to talk to the Board
Yeah.
of Selectmen.
That's what I
about-
was thinking too,
Yeah,
yeah,
he-
right, they have to,
We can't put those banners up.
Oh, of course, right.
About that.
But the design content that's
Right.
in the banner Yeah,
But that,
however we
that
can
was the
customize
40 to
it.
80 bucks
Yeah,
to design
that's
it.
right.
And 200, was it 200?
So the banner itself, after the construction of it, is $133 each, and then again the design, depending if it's simple or not. So the $39.95 is a half an hour worth of design for that particular banner. $80 is a full hour for that banner. But again, if we go back to the general banner where we had the different icons and then just save space at the bottom, that's also doable. What we did was that we left that section blank at the bottom, and what we did was printed and laminated the graphic of the sponsor
Oh,
and then
okay.
applied it to it. So each year, the banners go up with whoever is on it, and then they come down, you guys bring it back to me, I peel off the old and I put the new one on.
Okay.
So that, again, that is doable. The 18-ounce banner material will last, but they can be damaged as well. We used, the banner, would be the ones that we did for the 250th.
Yep.
So those are examples of that kind of banner. And then prior to that was the recreational community banners that we did. But yeah, so that is up for interpretation, but the cost of the material and the design time is accurate.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And Craig, just out of curiosity, were you thinking banner-wise, would that be something that the EDC held onto and kept? Or would that be something that the businesses could then utilize? I know we talked about a couple of different things, like if you did the flower box and then they win, potentially a banner or something. So what was
What do
your?
you mean the businesses would hold on to them?
Well, would it be their banner, or would it be something that EDC kept?
Well, how long would they be up?
Well, that's something I think
Like
we'd have to ask.
April till October type thing.
Yeah,
if you don't
the
want it out
banners,
in
the
winter.
banners can be up for probably, 4 or 5 months pretty easily. The 250th banners were up a lot longer than we expected. But the quality of them still held up nicely. There were some visible cracking just for the age of being blasted in the sun.
Yeah.
And then those were then gifted to the sponsors who purchased them.
Okay.
So would you envision then that we should make this a yearly thing if we did it so that they're all fresh instead of having some that are fatigued and then the business takes them, or what?
I'm up for anything for that
But in
part.
So
other
how-
words, from the business perspective, you'd pay your $250 or $300 depending on design adjustments, et cetera, and then you'd have the banner for the 1 year. DPW in October or November, whenever, would take it back down and hand it back to the business? I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
Unless you can put it back up again the next year, you said.
Exactly, right. So the first batch of banners, let's say, we have a general design, maybe change out the design every so often so that it has a fun, colorful look to it. I would say for the recreational community banner, we had icons that focused on a lot of different things you can do here in South, like fishing, boating, biking, walking, all those little things. But too many icons, you wouldn't really be able to see
As someone's
it.
driving
Right.
down the road.
Exactly,
Right.
right. So if, we did, again, the 30, it could be any number you really want to do. These are just the base cost of what one of those banners would be. So if you wanted to have, a larger boating picture on one, and then another one's a larger biking picture for one, then at least you can
that.
utilize the space that we have rather than trying to cram everything onto one.
So,
And then to save the section at the bottom for a sponsor.
right.
That way, we can then reuse it each year until they are too destroyed to be reused.
So like Craig, let's say a banner has a very good useful life, let's say for 2 years. So then are you then suggesting that a business pay their $300 or $280 or whatever it comes out to, they'd have it for 2 years and then we'd be starting over? I mean, what do people think?
And are the businesses paying, I'm confused, are we buying these for the business? Is that what your suggestion
We talked
was?
about that, we talked about having a lottery.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, okay.
Contest and all.
Yeah,
that,
yep.
Combination.
Yep,
of everything,
okay.
so.
Okay,
So the previous one with the with all those icons on it, I forget who started that project, but it was a letter that was sent out saying, would you like to be a sponsor of one of these recreational community banners? And then I believe it was around $250 or so.
Right.
So so let's say Miss Murphy's, they said, yes, I want one, and then we put the graphic on it, and then they put it up,
Then, they
the-
then wrote a check to the town.
Exactly.
And the selectman's office.
Right. So
handled the
the,
stuff.
from my history of this is that I guess the funds will come from the town to pay for the construction and design of it, and then again, the EDC would then be, you know, depending on how much you want to sell these for, would be that
We-
part of it.
Yeah, and, you know, this is going back to something else. We're economic development. I don't think asking businesses for money is something that we should be doing. You know, and I'm not sure, and we'd have to have a clear, concise, you know, way that we're doing this too. And I think it needs to go through a certain way, because then is it considered a donation? Is it considered, but as economic development, there was some other stuff that I think we're gonna bring up at the next meeting too, about asking. We're supposed to be promoting, like, not taking from businesses, so I'm not sure if asking them for money is the proper way to do this. So I think that we'd have to kind of sit and think about how we're going to work it. I like the idea of like the gift, like, you know what I mean, as they win them or something like that. Or saying, hey, you have this option at Southwoods. If we did the work behind it and found out, like, from the select board, can we get businesses, if they want to do this, would you allow this? And so then if the
So it's
business.
not like you're putting a gun to a business's head saying, cough over a check for $300.
Right, well, it'd be more like if you wanna partake in this, Southwoods is having this option and the town has already approved that you can put a banner up, you know what I mean? So we'd be kind of the back end, kind of making sure that all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed prior to it.
Well, that was,
Does that
so
make
that,
Inga?
Yeah, excuse me. When I had invited Martin here, it was for about a half hour for
Oh,
his own
sorry.
personal time to talk about the website and Facebook. So I think what you're saying has value, but I think for Martin's time and taking away from his family, he was just to talk about the website and Facebook, LinkedIn. So I just want to be respectful to Martin's time.
thanks. Just one part about that is for the banner. What we did with the 250th banners, after they were all produced and they were hung up for the celebration, we just made a booklet that people could go through and say, I want to buy that one. And it could have been a normal person, it could have been a business, whatever it might be the case. So if we focus on just the artistic nature of illustrating the town, then we were not asking money from businesses to sponsor anything. But maybe in the future saying, now that these are down, we're now releasing these out to the public. If you'd like
Sure.
to purchase one
Right.
of these as a donation to help fund blah, 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 then that could be, again, another avenue.
Okay.
This was more of just really an artistic way of making
Yep,
our streets look nice
Right.
and inviting.
right,
So yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Could you leave us, or could,
Yeah, you
with
can-
these
you can-
these
sure.
options, so we can go
Again,
over maybe for
anything
that
can be
next
edited.
meeting
No,
too?
it's just,
Right,
you know.
but
Right.
that way we can have,
Sure.
I'll make some copies of these too and bring them to the next meeting, so we can kind of relook at them too.
But this is something I'll have to definitely research, is that
I would
Facebook security
I would
and
appreciate
blocks.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you
Can I-
very much,
can I-
Martin.
can
Very
you,
well, very good information.
Martin, can you email me if you get an answer? When are we meeting, 2 weeks from now?
Right.
So if for some reason you get an answer, cause that might kinda, like.
Persuade you?
Yeah,
Okay.
persuade or change, I don't know. At least we can discuss it further too.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Thank
All
you
right,
very
thanks,
much.
Martin, we
Well,
appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
All right.
Martin, do you have any, on your way out, any of these banners that are still hanging around that we can put our eye on and just see what you're talking about sometime?
The 250 banners, I don't have. The town has some. Are, I think they were all sold,
Okay,
but there should be some displayed in a few places.
okay.
The one the one that Southwick Florist purchased is hanging in their shop.
Okay,
And there should be one hanging at the DPW, and there should be one, I thought one was in the town hall main lobby at some
Okay.
point. And Mrs. Murphy's, they bought theirs, but.
They're not open.
They're not open.
That's fine.
yeah,
And, oops, sorry. And the old, one that has all the icons on it, the town would have, I don't know, it was somewhere in the
Okay.
archives.
okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay.
Things well.
So do we have anything else that we need to go over, or are we going to end the meeting?
We can end the meeting, can we, for next meeting, we'll do this missions, go
Why
ahead.
did we have to have it here tonight as a special meeting? I thought we had something we had to take care of before you went.
That's okay.
For the budget.
I think it was because
No, it was talking about these budget things. So, at the hearing, when someone from the FinCon says.
Why do you
"So
need
what we-
this?"
Why do you need all this money?
Right.
What are you gonna do with it? Or, what are some of your uses for it? I can talk about some of this kind of stuff. That, these things do cost money. And the key thing, as several of you have brought up tonight, we're made up of volunteers. So we can put in a certain amount of time into this, but let's say Facebook, can someone say, oh, I can put in 10 hours a week to responding to
Or going through and
comments or
deleting
taking
comments,
them out
right,
or
right,
whatever?
right.
But
Yeah.
you had a very good point for Facebook, but there's no reason not to go with the website.
Right.
Yeah, that I agree with, and I again, I just did a quick on
Also-
Westfield, and I wanna I'll quickly look and see if other towns, but I don't know if it's as significant as needed. I mean, if other towns, and I get it, social media, and I get it, we're doing a bunch of stuff, but if it's on the website too, I wanted to ask him, if we're doing this website, can it be linked to the town website, or is that
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole different
So
domain?
that's
So
not a,
that-
that's
so
not a
then,
problem.
Okay, so then I don't see that being an issue. And I think for the most part, there's so many people on Facebook and they're putting out the different things that are going on these like Southwick forums and stuff like that, while we do promote, we can still, it's not like we can't, I can't go onto the forum and say, hey, just a reminder, this is coming through, get out and cheer them on or something.
Right.
What are they gonna do? Comment under mine and bash me, whatever, it's, I don't care, it's.
Are you
know,
one
I've
of the
gotten
promoters
worse.
of the
Yeah,
advertising,
yeah,
or-
yeah, what are you doing? So, I mean, it's something we could do, but I wanna sit on that for a minute, I wanna get an answer from him if you guys
Right.
don't mind.
And that's where the larger sum of the money is too, so
Sure.
expenditures.
Right.
So do we have anything else that we need to cover?
Maybe
or-
if Mike's doing a podcast, we don't need the Facebook.
There you go. No, next meeting, can we do this mission statement
Sure,
now? So at least we
Yeah.
have that under
Right.
wraps. And then I'm gonna ask Inga if you can come to the next meeting as well.
I've been here.
Yeah, but I wanna make sure, because I have some questions in regards to the shop small business.
Already prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
just have a quick question. I thought also part of the process for this evening was to take a vote for the EDC about presenting next Monday or next week, Mike, when you go in for the budget hearing, to say, yes, this is something that the commission wants to do. This is why we would like to ask for X amount of money going into FY
Well, yeah, I'll put some
23.
stuff together based on the information we got
Do you
tonight.
all have to vote on that though, tonight though, to have that be
No,
part of your
it's just-
presentation?
We already voted on the dollar amount.
Right.
Now it's a matter of preparing for either the selectmen or members of the finance committee questions that
And
they'll
then,
ask.
and then we'll vote if we decide to do it.
Right, if we end up getting the money at the the May town meeting, then we'll know what our budget is for next year.
So how are we breaking that out then? What do we say, 5?
5,000.
Yep.
So how are we breaking that out then?
We'll have to figure that out once we've got the money, if we get the money.
No, I mean, as you go in there, are we gonna say 1,000 for the website and so much?
I'll give them items and some dollar amounts with them.
Because
Say,
we've got the-
This is how we wanna spend the money this coming fiscal year.
I wonder if we ought to throw something like the banners in there. We won't be tied to it, but I mean, we certainly,
The banners we really have to talk about. Are we buying the banners for the businesses?
Right,
Or
I think what you're getting at is we need to justify where 5,000.
So, and then just say, we discussed, I would say we're discussing, purchasing banners for businesses or something for promotion. And then, going to what I want to discuss with your shop small, without getting into too much, Inga, but I love all of it, but I don't think asking businesses to give a donation or give a $25 gift card, I think it kind of takes away. So if us as EDC, maybe we still do the raffle kind of thing at each business, but then we put together a basket, like a solid winner of $150 basket or something like that, that's got a Tucker's gift card and, a Yankee Candle from the Country Colonial and, things of that nature.
what's the difference though?
Go ahead.
I just have a question. I thought part of tonight, I'm gonna go back to it again, was to talk about spending money for the fiscal year 2022, because you are walking away with a $2,000 budget that you've not spent. So that's where I was thinking, that's why we had this special meeting, was that you could vote tonight to decide whether to do this, so that you could spend some of the money that you already got that you didn't spend, to help justify asking for those additional funds for fiscal year 23, that you've got $2,000 that you've not spent a dime on.
Right.
And they're gonna say, well, why should we give you more when you haven't spent any?
Well, because we'll say, because we're trying to see what we're gonna have for
Right, but
next.
you've not spent any money yet this year,
We,
out of the 2 grand.
so far, I can put a purchase order in for the Greater Westfield Chamber dues,
How much
and we
is that?
had approved spending some money on signs. Other than that, we do have a chunk of it that we haven't spent.
Right.
Which, this here, if you choose to vote for the website, you can put through that order this year, or this month even.
I think we need to talk about it more next month, Facebook, website, et cetera. We needed to get information. As Stephen Covey used to say, he's a man, he's passed away a couple of years ago, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So we need information first so that you can make some decisions and go forward from there. At this point, we were just trying to get some information, well, how does this work and
And if we say
what's the
we're gonna
cost
be
of that?
utilizing the money from this year to do the startup, that's why we're doing the holdback, we're utilizing this money to do the startup, and that money is gonna be used to carry on, so.
Because we hadn't discussed previously website versus Facebook and how much does it cost to set it up and if we have Southwoods do updating, how much does that cost? We didn't know
Right.
prior to
And so,
discussing
and now,
it.
and we can add in, we wanna do the banners and so.
But isn't the budget a yearly thing? So if we don't spend this year, it's now.
On
lose
June
it.
30th, the
Yeah,
money
we lose it, yeah,
disappears.
We lose it, yeah.
It's like your
So we
checkbook
most
on
likely
June
will
30th,
do the
whatever's in the checkbook goes down to zero.
We're gonna show that, that's what
Correct.
that's what my
Right.
thought process is right
I
now.
was under the same impression as you,
Yeah.
by the way, but yeah, okay, so I understand where we're at, you're gonna present and then we'll decide. But
Right. And the thing about the Southwick process, and I'm not saying it's a good process or a bad process, you go to the hearing, you've got your 5 or 10 minutes of fame, and then it's on to the fire department, to town clerk, senior center, et
Yeah.
cetera. you get no feedback until the town meeting. So you have no idea. What I typically do, and I'll be honest, I've done it for 8 or 10 years, is the week before the town meeting, I wander around town hall to get my hands on a copy of the budget because they send it out to some printer who prints 100 copies or 500 copies or whatever number of copies, to get my hands on a copy so I can then see how much did EDC get, how much did the cultural council get, how much did the library get, because they don't tell you.
So if we vote next time to approve this website, it'll still fall under this year's budget?
Yes,
Right.
exactly, yep.
That's why we have to spend the
Yeah.
money by June
Right.
30th.
Yeah, we have until June 30th.
But it just, up to now, we didn't know, well, how much does the website
Right.
cost and how much for upgrading the domain name, Facebook, et cetera. We didn't really have that conversation.
So I'm trying to understand what you say as far as asking the businesses for money. So when we have a job fair, we ask them for 25 or 50 bucks a table or something like that. How is this different?
So
from
that was through-
Getting the exposure of a
The,
banner?
Right.
the job fair, we didn't charge. The home and business show, we charged them the
Right.
20 or 25
Yeah.
bucks.
Bec-
And basically, my logic there was to get them to commit to show up. Because when it was free, if you had 25 businesses that signed up, 4 or 5 of them wouldn't bother showing up. Because
And
they had
And the West,
no money in.
the Westfield Chamber also, remember, was putting that on, so
Yeah.
we were kind of falling under their
Right.
category.
Yeah.
And
We were
because when it was
working with
things like
them.
the ranch, now when we did Tuckers and stuff, but it's, covering the appetizers and the,
Right.
your setup and cleanup and the staff
Because
and
we had
stuff
to pay
too.
Tuckers $200 or $300 for hors d'oeuvres or whatever.
But if
And we had
we're
the
showing
same thing at the
businesses how to
ranch.
get exposure so that people know that there's a Southwoods in town because they see the sign on the road, or they know that the Notch has a drive-through, which most people don't know.
Right.
yet,
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, if that gets businesses exposure, we're just giving them an opportunity to enhance what they've got. I don't know why somebody, I don't see why that's a conflict with us to,
In which part? With the banners?
yeah, as far as.
Oh, the banners, no, I just wanted to know how it was gonna, like, what we were gonna do, how we were gonna do
Yeah, I'm
it.
not presupposed, I'm just saying, here's an avenue where we can help.
I
businesses improve.
absolutely agree.
That's
What-
I just wasn't sure, like, are we buying them, are they purchasing them, are we
Well,
giving them the avenue to
That's
purchase
why,
them?
the way Amber was saying it toward the end of that conversation was, okay, here's an opportunity. We've talked to Southwoods, if you want to do this,
And
you
we've,
write the check to Southwoods.
right, and we've already cleared it through the town.
Right.
Right, we've already gotten them, the DPW, everybody, they're gonna set it up. Here's an opportunity for you to display an
Because
advertisement in town.
there's some businesses in town that don't know, for example, that Southwoods is there. They don't know that the Westfield News exists. So in terms of them promoting themselves, maybe they only know about the Springfield Republican or the Hartford Current, which doesn't really circulate here anymore.
But it keeps us as, like, we've done the legwork in a sense, you know what I mean? Now it's up
But
to
we're
them
not
if they
taking
want.
in the money, so that
Right,
a check's not being written to the town of Southwick.
and then
You
we,
still should put that in the budget, even if we're buying all 30 signs, right?
right, and then we
Yeah.
could, and we could
In our
again do,
proposed budget for next year, yeah, that's what we'll do with that.
if you want,
Well, I'm just saying we should, we need to,
sure.
you know,
Show why we need $5,000.
yeah.
Well, and I would add in, we wanna purchase some banners
Uh-huh.
for businesses.
And if we want to have contests throughout the course of the year, I mean, to give away $500 or $1,000 is nothing, you eat up a couple thousand just like that, right? I mean, whether it be with the window boxes or whatever we're
Right.
going to do, so I mean, it's not hard to get to 5,000.
No, for
No.
sure.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure Mike's comfortable with all.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I'll put it out there and then I'll get some members of the FinCon who haven't been on long who'll say, what? Why are we doing this for the business? Versus you could have some people on there or on the Board of Selectmen
I think it's a great
who
idea.
everything is
Yeah.
pro-business. Other people, it's nothing for business. They
But I
don't
think
care
it's-
about the jobs created or the personal property or real estate tax paid.
As
or
far as
anything.
our relevancy, though, we're trying to be relevant, and
Right.
this is how you can help us be relevant.
And part of that relates back to the 900 surveys that people said, they're kind of, many of them, not all of them, but many of them are pro-small business, but they don't want big industrial, they don't want big department stores, they don't want whatever. So we're saying, given that kind of input, given the farmers forum that was held at the library in January, they want assistance from the town to promote farming in town, promote, as I say, small business,
Right.
et cetera. The recreational activities, there's many people in town who still don't know where the town beach is, or the fact that there is a town beach, or the fishing pier.
Right. I hope they can hear the message loud and clear that we don't feel like we've been very effective. We would like to be effective, and you
Right.
need to help us get there.
I can shovel it on. I'm very well,
We have we have a half a dozen things here that are substantial.
I know.
So-
More than one of you can go to the
Yeah,
hearing.
I have it on
I've
my
gone-
calendar.
I've
She
gone,
said,
I've gone
yeah.
with Mike.
Yeah. Okay, it's 7:13, are we ready to,
When is the budget meeting?
It's March 11th,
March 11th.
8:30, did you say?
8:20
I believe it's
a.m.
8:20.
Yeah, I've got it on my calendar.
To strengthen numbers, as many of you should go as you can.
And is it here?
It's up on the
upstairs.
second floor land use room.
Okay.
Do they let the public talk or no? Or people?
Generally,
No.
no. But
But you're part of the commission. You're not the public, you're part of
what
the.
we,
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Outside of one's, okay.
for example, when the senior center, when the Council on Aging budget is there, Cindy Sullivan, the executive director, does her piece, and she'll have one or two other people with her at the table, and 3 or 4 other senior citizens there, and the selectman would, oh, Mrs. So-and-so, oh, Jane, oh, I see you have a good turnout here today, and it's early in the morning, your people are here. I've heard that over and over again.
But we have, I think they, what do they give us, like 10,
Ten-
not even
10
10
minutes.
minutes or so? Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's about the end of it. So if we're gonna end the meeting, Michael McMahon, yes?
Yes, Serena Fuller.
Rick Sanderson.
John Coder?
Amber Buck.
Okay. Okay.